All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to talk about something we all deal with, the service call. But we're going to look at it through a new lens. How to turn a totally routine phone call into a loyalty-building, genuinely memorable experience. It's about going from just a transaction to a real transformation. You know that feeling, right? You called, you got your answer, you booked the thing, but the whole interaction was just blah. It felt cold, robotic, and you forgot about it 2 seconds later. It's such a common experience, but here's the thing. It absolutely does not have to be that way. I mean, just think about the difference in how you feel when you hear a flat, "Thanks, bye," versus a warm, genuine, "We can't wait to welcome you." It's night and day. One is a closed door. The other, that's an open invitation. And that little shift is exactly what we're going to break down today. So, where does this all begin? Well, it starts way earlier than you think. It's all about those first few seconds. This is the foundation that the entire rest of the experience is built on. Get this right and you're golden. And it all starts with this number, 3. The absolute, non-negotiable industry standard is to answer the phone within 3 rings. See, any longer than that, and you're already sending a message that your customer's time isn't a top priority. Answering quickly is like the first unspoken promise of efficiency. Then, as soon as you pick up, the perfect greeting follows this really simple but powerful formula. "Good morning, the Grand Hotel. You're speaking with Sarah." It's warm, it tells them exactly where they are, and it makes it personal. That structure immediately sets a professional but also super welcoming tone. And let's say you do need to put someone on hold. Check out the psychology here. You're not telling them, "Hold on." You're asking for their permission. It's such a small change in wording, but it shows this huge amount of respect for their time, and it keeps them feeling in control of the conversation. It's a game changer. Okay, now, let's get into the heart of the call. This is where a customer stops feeling like just a number in a queue and starts feeling like a real valued person. So, the goal here is to make the guest feel seen, to feel recognized. The gold standard is to try and use their name about 3 times naturally in the conversation. If they're a returning guest, you acknowledge that loyalty. And here's the magic trick. You reference their known preferences. This is where all that data you collect becomes your superpower. So an agent might see a simple little note just like this pop up on their screen. It's just one tiny detail from a past stay, but in the right hands, this is pure gold. And this is how you turn that data into a real connection. That one sentence says so much more than the words themselves. It says, "We remember you, we know what you like, and we've already started taking care of you." It's proactive, it's personal, and it builds a massive amount of trust instantly. Okay, so you've set the stage beautifully, you've made that personal connection. Now it's time to elevate the whole conversation using the art of language. This isn't about just listing facts, it's about painting a picture they can step into. So instead of just saying a bed is comfortable, what does that even mean? You describe the cloud-like mattress and the luxurious Egyptian cotton linens. You can almost feel the difference just hearing it, can't you? One is just a boring feature. The other is an experience you can almost touch. And it doesn't stop there. The same thing goes for space and view. A room isn't just spacious. No, it's an expansive sanctuary. It doesn't have a good view. It has a panoramic cityscape. See, these words don't just describe something, they actually create desire. And this all boils down to one key idea. Sell the benefit, not the feature. Don't just tell me there's an oversized soaking tub. Tell me it's the ideal spot to relax and melt away the stress of the city. You're not selling plumbing, you're selling tranquility. That's what people are actually buying. All right, this brings us to the final act. And you could argue it's the most important part of the entire call. Because how you end the conversation is what's going to stick with that person long, long after they've hung up the phone. Now, this is actually grounded in some really cool science. It's a psychological principle called the peak end rule. And what it says is that our brains don't average out an entire experience. Nope. We tend to remember 2 things. Its most intense point, the peak, and how it ended. This means a really strong ending can literally rewrite the memory of the entire call for the better. It's that powerful. So how do you nail that ending? Well, there's a simple 3-part formula. First, sincere appreciation. Instead of a robotic, "Thanks," you say, "Thank you so much for choosing us." Second, enthusiastic anticipation. You create excitement with something like, "We absolutely can't wait to welcome you." And finally, the bridge statement. This keeps the door open. A warm, please don't hesitate to call if anything else comes to mind, makes them feel supported even after the call's over. And here is a fantastic pro tip that ties this whole thing together, and it's so easy. Just smile when you talk. It sounds almost silly, but the physical act of smiling actually changes the tone of your voice. It makes you sound warmer, friendlier, and more engaged. And trust me, people can literally hear a smile over the phone. When you boil it all down, what we've really been exploring is this fundamental shift in mindset. It's moving away from a transactional view, which is, my job is to book a room, to a hospitality mindset, which is, my job is to make someone feel genuinely cared for. One is about a task, the other is about a human connection. And in the end, these principles, listening, personalizing, ending with real intention, they don't just apply to booking a hotel room. They apply to pretty much every interaction we have. Which kind of leaves us with one last thought. Where else in your life can a single conversation change everything?